Hello and welcome to the Fusion Pro Show, episode 2. My name is only flipping Owain Roberts, and I'm here with my co-host, the man with the dirty sheets, Phil Smarts. Hello, Phil. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely great, Owain. Thank you very much for asking. We have seen an absolutely awesome episode of Fusion Virtual just today, and I'm very excited to give the rundown to the fans.
Well, it was a fantastic show indeed, and I too look forward to giving the rundown and the lowdown of all the goings and happenings in Fusion Virtual. So let's start off with Fusion Pro Virtual, but let's start off with the rundown of the last show last week.
Yes, this show took place on the 13th of June, and what we've seen online is on the Fusion Pro Facebook page, we've seen some information regarding Leon Hunter. As the fans of the show may know, we inquired about an investigation to be put through, and the Fusion Pro Virtual management actually looked into that, and they've given us some information on the Facebook page, stating that Leon Hunter had a apprentice named Lewis Harrow who took his place in the Fusion Pro Streamfest.
Oh, so are you telling me now that the Fusion Pro Show has uncovered a mystery, or we've actually led an investigation to happen due to our comments?
Well, yes, thanks to the Fusion Pro Show, it seems that we've managed to unearth a mystery, like you say. Um, Obviously, Leon Hunter has some things to say about this, and my sources have managed to retrieve me a statement. Leon Hunter has stated that this is his words, not mine. I have no idea who this Lewis Harrow is. Rumours of him being my trainee are false. I've never met him, but I would like to. How about Fusion Pro Virtual Board arrange Leon Hunter versus Lewis Harrow so we can get rid of this virtual doppelganger?
Wow, so Leon Hunter's issued a challenge. It will be the first time that we see Leon Hunter in the Fusion Pro Virtual World. Of course, the first match was Lewis Harrow in his place. This is a massive, massive theory that we've put in place, and we've uncovered some dark secrets in Fusion Pro Virtual. Perhaps we'll delve deeper in there. Not only that, though, we've also heard that Teague, Pastor Everett Teague, has somehow got involved virtually. Can you tell us a little bit about this, Phil?
Well, Pastor Everett Teague supposedly gave a statement saying that he forgives Leon Hunter of his sins. Could he possibly be trying to form a bridge with this young talent? Obviously, Pastor Everett Teague, the more experienced of the two. He may be trying to get him involved in the Church of Teague, possibly, maybe even in the virtual world. But what we do know is that Leon Hunter and Pastor Everett Teague have met once in the past in an official match, and that was for the CCW Welsh Championship at Fusion Pro Extravaganza in Llandudno.
And what a match it was! I believe it was Leon Hunter's first ever singles match, anyway, for Fusion Pro Wrestling. This is a throwback almost. Could Teague potentially be trying to recruit Leon Hunter, seeing that Leon Hunter seems to be in a bad place at the moment, according to Fusion Pro Virtual? But from his comments, obviously, it seems to be a complete misunderstanding on Fusion Pro Virtual's side.
Well, there's definitely some more investigating to be done. We don't have any evidence really of whether there's truth or lies. We might have to wait for a statement from Lewis Harrow, possibly. Maybe the Fusion Pro Virtual Board could update us on this, though, and the happenings in Fusion Virtual.
Well, of course, this is a big deal now. Especially when we're comparing to real life, where Leon Hunter has been a fan favorite for many. He comes down very relatable. He's that type of relatable character. One that would like football.
Yeah, absolutely. You could go down to the pub with him, watch the football. He's not going to upset anyone. He's there. He's proud of who he is, and he's proud of the values that he takes into the ring. And sorry, you carry on.
He's put in the hard work as well. So for something like this to happen, surely it would have had some sort of an effect to him. For someone to come out and say, that this person told me to go instead. As we know, Leon Hunter is not a coward. Leon Hunter is the type of person that will go into a rumble after being thrown off a stage through a table and continue fighting the good fight.
Precisely. So we've seen him obviously take at hard target. He went through that table and carried on into the rumble. despite numerous injuries and nagging injuries. He's clearly not someone who's afraid of a fight, and it's really a mystery as to why he would replace himself in this tournament. It doesn't really make much sense. So maybe his explanation could actually provide some more facts within the investigation.
Well, definitely, this is the type of thing that the Fusion Pro show is here for. We're the ones that gather the information, we're the ones that disseminate the information, and hopefully we'll have an answer soon enough. But that's just one part of the Fusion virtual world currently. There's a whole load of things going on. So let's go into the Fusion virtual show on the 13th of June. Let's delve a little bit deeper into that and discuss the matches.
Well, absolutely. On the pre-show, we had the young upstart Luke Little versus Luke Moto. Pretty much the battle of the virtual Lukes, was it not?
Yeah, well, yes, indeed. I mean, we haven't seen much of either in real life apart from possible like Rumble entries, but this was a stage for them to showcase what they have in the virtual world. We've seen before Luke Little being that nervous to enter into a wrestling ring that he forgot to take his hoodie off. He
Yes,
wore his
yes.
hoodie as ring attire. Surely that must have been hot. But we saw this again in the virtual world. He forgot to take his hoodie off. Could that be a defining feature of Luke Little going into the future?
Well, maybe he's just so good that he likes to make each match more of a challenge. So far we've seen him undefeated. He beat Rico Grande in his real life dark match at Fright Fest, I believe it was,
It
and
was indeed, yes.
here at Fusion Virtual he's had another win, all with the hoodie on. It really does make you think what this young talent could do when he takes the hoodie off.
There could possibly be padded weights there he could be doing weight training with this hoodie, and once it's taken off, he could be as light as a feather, jumping around that ring, performing all sorts of moves. But as we understand, Luke Little did win his first ever Fusion Virtual match against Luke Moto.
Yes.
Um, a massive achievement for such a young star here at the Fusion Pro World.
Yeah, but now we transition forward on the same Fusion Virtual show. We had a tournament for the Fusion Virtual Championship. So to start it out, we had Alfie Brooks versus Dougie Matthews. Alfie Brooks won this by a DQ. Dougie Matthews resorted to a low blow, even though it seemed that he had the upper hand in that match. Now, an explanation that may occur here is that Virtual Dick Chambers may have told Virtual Dougie Matthews that he wanted that belt on Creeper, and Dougie Matthews may have been weakening Alfie Brooks for the future match in the semi-finals, possibly.
Possibly, I mean, Dougie Matthews had that win essentially in the bag. He'd beaten Alfie Brooks almost to a pulp on the outside, but then decided to come back from inside the ring to the outside of the ring, breaking up the 10 count, and then low blowing Alfie Brooks. That just shows the maliciousness in Dougie Matthews,
Yes.
in distinction. That they don't care if they win or lose as long as they get their objective done.
Yes, exactly. It's a mission. It isn't about the short-term wins, but it's about the big picture. And yeah, that's all. That's the explanation that we can offer for Dougie Matthews' resorting to those tactics. Moving on, though, we have Crimson Chaos versus Andy Knox. Crimson Chaos with a huge win, proving that he has a lot to show here at Fusion Virtual. Tea time is over for Andy Knox, would you say?
Well, that's it now. That would have been his third opportunity here in the Fusion Pro world. His first in the virtual world. No, what, the second in the virtual world. Apologies. Twice now losing. Um, you know, what can we say about Andy Knox? But he's failed twice now. Possibly is this the end for him in virtual paradox? Maybe not, but this is the type of match that we'd like to see in real life, both with exceptional skills in the wrestling ring, but Crimson Chaos just edging out the win here.
Yes, absolutely. And we move on from this match, obviously, onto Creeper versus Isaac North, a battle of the behemoths in the first round. Creeper wins this one, as I predicted. Isaac North just could not handle the monster.
I was very surprised, to be honest. I did have my money bet on Isaac North, but Creeper showing why he is the dominant force here in Fusion Pro Wrestling, with Dick Chambers or without. He is undeniably one of the best here at Fusion Pro, whether it be virtual or in real life. Isaac North, he did put up a fight, but again, Creeper just shows how strong he really is, and especially with that momentum going forward. Possibly a slip up against Pequeno Loco in the last virtual show, but he had all to show this show, and again, beating Isaac North, as you said.
Yes, as we move on with the results, we have Brian Stone versus Pequeno Loco. Loco won this one, but Brian Stone might have been screwed by the ref. He grabbed the rope, but it was never called. We don't know if it was actually malicious from the referee or if it was just bad judgment. It does happen in any sport in the world, and with wrestling being such a high impact, quick sport, very competitive. Sometimes referees can get caught up in the moment, and Brian Stone unfortunately lost this one despite having grabbed the rope.
Well, again, you can't really blame the ref here. The ref was trying to do justice to both wrestlers. I can't speak from experience, but I know wrestlers in real life, as you know, who would have been very annoyed had the ref have stopped counting, or delayed the counting. Brian Stone was slow to grab the ropes. Yes, he did grab the ropes, but maybe if he had the energy to grab the ropes, why didn't he kick out?
Very true. This is something that, like I said, we see in all sports. We see referees making mistakes, and sometimes it can be down to a split second, and that's what we saw in the Fusion Virtual show. Anyway, so we move on to the semi-finals of Fusion Virtual for the tournament for the Fusion Virtual Championship. Sorry, and we had Alfie Brooks versus Creeper. Creeper absolutely dominates. Is it much surprise after Dougie Matthews weakened Alfie Brooks in the previous match?
No surprise at all, really. Creeper again showing that he is, the supreme here in Fusion. He absolutely destroyed Alfie Brooks, and Alfie Brooks tried his best, but simply wasn't enough. And I can't really blame Alfie Brooks here. He was attacked by Dougie Matthews, viciously, and that beating continued, unfortunately, for Alfie Brooks. But a good showing for Alfie Brooks, thankfully. We look forward to seeing more of him in the future.
Absolutely, and we move on to the other semi-final, which of course is Pequeno Loco versus Crimson Chaos. A reigniting of one of the dirtiest and harshest rivalries in Fusion Pro history, really. Obviously, in the real world, Crimson Chaos betrayed his tag team partner in the Creed, Pequeno Loco, and we've seen it once again in the virtual world, have we not?
Well, yes, former tag team champions, the first ever Fusion Pro tag team champions, the Creed, Crimson Cage and Pequeno Loco. Unfortunately, a very, very brutal rivalry between both of them. We saw in real world that Pequeno Loco managed to get the upper hand against Crimson Chaos, but again, in the virtual world, there's no stopping Pequeno Loco. Another dominant display by Loco. It seems to me, though, that Pequeno Loco has a bit of a meaner streak in the virtual world. We discussed this last show with his attack on Creeper's leg,
Yes.
continually stomping until Creeper could no longer walk, breaking Creeper's leg. But again, Pequeno Loco, maybe this is the type of inspiration that Loco needs to take from the virtual Loco and apply it into real life, because this Pequeno Loco looks unstoppable.
Well, possibly because he's obviously got that huge title defense coming up against Creeper, and we saw him use the lasso from El Paso in the virtual world. Could he take inspiration from that as well, possibly to defeat Creeper? Take the big man off his feet and lock in a submission. You're not so tall when you're on the mat.
Well, that's true. It was a blast from the past indeed, as Loco hit the lasso from El Paso. In real life, we haven't really seen him do that much. The last time that we saw him use that move was when he beat Rai Lucha in the Ultimate 8 tournament back in 2018.
Well, it worked
Possibly,
then. It worked then.
It did indeed. Possibly a move to go back to once lockdown has finished and we get to our first show.
It's a big possibility, and obviously moving into the finals, we have the rematch of Virtual Loco versus Virtual Creeper. It was more back and forth than the last one, brawling all over the place. Pequeno Loco had Creeper beaten for the 10 count, but being the competitor that he is, he wanted to beat him in the ring. and he went on to do that, and he becomes the first ever Fusion Pro Virtual Champion.
Very honourable by Pequeno Loco. If I was in those shoes, honestly, I wouldn't even get to that position. But if I was Pequeno Loco in that split second, I would have stayed in the ring and allowed the ref to count to 10. That, you know, a win's a win at the end of the day, no matter how it happens. But Pequeno Loco obviously showing his true virtues and to allow Creeper the chance to fight back was almost silly, but at the same time, you can appreciate the efforts for Pequeno Loco to want to put on a show for the audience.
Well, yeah, in a championship match, it's all about proving that you're the champion, and Pequeno Loco may have thought, I'm not proving that I'm a true champion if I take this 10 count victory. So, obviously, congrats to Loco, and stay tuned on this show because later on we have an interview with Pequeno Loco himself.
Yes, we do indeed. But let's talk about the show that we saw tonight. So that's Fusion Virtual, the first weekly episode. A lot happened in the show that carried on from last show. Let's talk about this show.
Well, we saw Big Red versus Isaac North, a match that many were excited to see. Again, two behemoths. We're getting the big men out in Fusion Virtual, and we saw Big Red was attacked in his entrance by a mystery attacker who was wearing a ram's skull. Who do you think this could be?
Very interesting indeed. This person that attacked Big Red towered over him almost. So could it possibly have been Isaac North? Obviously, we didn't see Isaac North. Or could it have been Creeper? We understand that Big Red had been talking a bit of trash talk to Creeper in the build-up to this. Could that have been Creeper, I wonder?
Well, I don't know many people taller than Big Red, but Creeper is definitely one of them.
That's one thing that possibly your sources could look into.
Well, I can get my sources on it, but the Fusion Virtual managers are very secretive about what's going on in Fusion Virtual. They don't like me giving away too much, so I might respectfully leave it to them, and we'll just see how this mystery unravels. But we also got footage of Andy Knox being attacked by AJ Hughes and Jay Shelley.
Multiple attacks this show, yes.
Yes, so
but,
we may see Anarchy versus Paradox in the virtual world, possibly.
Well, yeah, we saw in this show a part of Anarchy and a part of Paradox battle it out as we saw AJ Hughes and Jay Shelley take on Connor Klein and RJ Silver. Now, this was a back and forth match, but again, Anarchy showing that they've just got that upper hand against Paradox. We saw Crimson Chaos beat Andy Knox, but now we've seen Jay Shelley and AJ Hughes beat Connor Klein and RJ Silver after a bit of hesitation from RJ Silver, possibly not on the same page, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. When it comes to the virtual world, obviously, there's not as much control over what happens. We may see certain tag teams break up that we wouldn't in real life. We may see certain tag teams not work together as they would in real life, but that's part of what makes it exciting. It's good variety for the fans, I believe. And moving on, we saw Dougie Matthews. He demanded to be the main event at Streamfest, despite losing to Alfie Brooks. But he demanded to head into the main event, and could we see that happening tonight?
Well, Dougie Matthews' performances have been less than stellar, to be honest. I mean, he did lead the team that beat Paradox in the first show, although he did get eliminated himself. And now going into the tournament, he lost Alfie Brooks in the first match. I'm not sure why he's requesting to go against the champion or even to be in the main event, to be honest, because his performances haven't been that great. But maybe again we see Dick Chambers' influence in the virtual world.
Absolutely, we may see it in the virtual world. We've obviously seen him influence Dougie Matthews into getting himself disqualified. Who knows what Dick Chambers may be up to? But we head on into the main event of tonight's show, which is a match between Brian Stone and Pequeno Loco. Both men used weapons. It seemed to get turned into a drag-out brawl between two men who are actually very honourable competitors in real life. So could you expand on that for us?
Well, yeah, I believe this was a no holds barred with no disqualification rules in place. you know, both of them went all out. I believe that this was asked upon by Pequeno Loco, the virtual Pequeno Loco, as he didn't want any ifs or buts of the reason why he'd win this match. But fair play to both of them. They both put their virtual careers on the line in this match with the amount of punishment both competitors took. Brian Stone hits Loco with the baseball bat. To any normal person, that could be them out for the count. But Pequeno Loco shows just how much courage and determination he has. He manages to make his way back to his feet. Both brawl over the baseball bat, but Brian Stone, clearly the fresher man, managed to take it off him, throws it to the ground almost in an act of defiance, and then hits Pequeno with a massive patented Brian Stone dropkick. Loco clearly dazed. Brian Stone, with his infinite knowledge of submission moves, grabs Pequeno Loco and puts him in a submission. Nowhere to go.
Well,
Nowhere to grab. No ropes, no nothing. Pequeno Loco had no option but to tap.
well, Brian Stone, the new Fusion Virtual Champ. It would be an interesting match in real life. Both men are absolute competitors, and all we can do is congratulate Brian Stone on getting the biggest win in his virtual career.
A massive win for virtual Brian Stone, but we wonder what Pequeno Loco has to say about this. Obviously, we've got an interview with him now, which is coming on next. It'll be great to find out from the former virtual champion and the current Grand Champion what his thoughts are on this event.
Well, yes, we're having Pequeno Loco on next, and we will be transitioning into that right now. Stay tuned. Hello, Fusion fans. My name's Phil Smarts, and I've got Pequeno Loco here for an interview. My sources have managed to get him on the line for me. Pequeno Loco, how are you doing today?
Smell farts. Thank you for having me. See, are you good? Yes.
I'm absolutely fantastic. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Owain, do you have some questions for Pequeno Loco?
Hello, Pequeno Loco, the Grand Champion himself. I can't believe that we've managed to get you on here, but again, Fusion Pro show delivers. Pequeno Loco, it's an honour to have you on here, and as my co-host Phil Smarts has just said, I do have a few questions to ask you. Apologies for the poor Spanish, but I've had numerous requests come in, and I've chosen a few questions to ask you. One of our Latin fans have come out now and asked this question. Apologies for any inconsistencies with the vocabulary, but here goes. So the question is, ¿Cuál es tu destino de vacaciones favorito? Which translates to, what is your favorite holiday destination? You're more than welcome to answer in English for our English fans.
See.
And you've heard it here first. Pequeno Loco's favorite holiday destination is the sea. Any specific sea, Pequeno Loco?
See.
Just all the seas
Sea.
out there. He has enough money for it. He gets paid big bucks as the champion. So I've also got a question for you, Pequeno Loco. What is your favourite letter of the English alphabet?
See.
The
yes.
third letter.
Wow.
The third letter of the English alphabet happens to be my probably fifth favourite letter.
Well, it might be my 25th favourite letter, I've got to be honest.
But there we go. Pequeno's Loco's favourite letter is the letter C. We've got a few more questions here for you, Pequeno Loco. What's your favourite Spanish word?
See.
Wow. If for our fans that are completely inept at talking any Spanish, that means yes.
Wow. So I've already learnt a new word today. We've heard Pequeno Loco say "C" before in plenty of his matches, and I never really knew what it meant. But now I do. Thank you, Pequeno Loco. Perhaps we could have a Spanish lesson in the future.
See.
Excellent. He's agreed to that. We'll definitely help him out.
I am absolutely ecstatic. So, Pequeno Loco, unfortunately, we recently just saw you lose the Fusion Virtual Championship to Brian Stone. Do you have any comments?
Wait. What?
Yes, I'm afraid if you haven't had the link over in El Paso yet, I'm afraid you lost the Fusion Virtual Championship to Brian Stone.
How?
Submission.
Yes,
The
you tapped
submission
out.
machine made you tap, unfortunately.
No, dirty, dirty cheat. I never lose.
Well,
Well,
that's
I
just.
paid Louis good money to make sure I win. I mean, it's what?
Oh, have we got an inside scoop here? Have you been paying for victories in Fusion Virtual, Pequeno Loco?
No, I never said such a thing.
it would explain a lot to see Pequeno Loco's probably darker side implemented into Fusion Pro Virtual. Again, we'll have to get a further scoop on that from the creator of Fusion Pro Virtual itself.
I never said such a thing. You lie. You put words in my mouth.
Well, we've got you recorded here, Pequeno Loco. I mean, if we're talking about liability here, we've got you on tape.
What? Wait. What?
We'll just
This is recording?
yeah, like that's why we've got you on for the Fusion Pro show, episode 2.
I thought you just wanted to talk.
Well,
Perhaps
we do.
we've lost him in translation here. Perhaps
Maybe.
misheard him, and apologies, Pequeno Loco. We shouldn't expect you to be fluent in multiple languages. I know that you do speak a little bit of English, and apologies if we've caused any offence to match fixing as such. As we know, your character is very, very loyal. You're very honest.
An honourable man.
See?
So, do you have any opinions on what's happening next in the real world of Fusion Pro? We've seen Creeper win the Grand Rumble most recently. He is the #1 contender to your title. How have you been preparing during lockdown for this absolutely huge matchup that's going to test you to the max?
I've been working on my ankle breakers. Yes.
Yeah, ankle breakers, like me and you presumed. Owain, could Pequeno Loco be taking some inspiration from Fusion Virtual as we saw him break the ankle of Creeper at Streamfest?
Well, yes, not only that, but we saw a move that we hadn't seen Pequeno Loco do since Fusion Pro second show ever, Ultimate 8, which was the lasso from El Paso. Could that be potentially a move that you re-implement into your moveset, Pequeno Loco?
Oh, no, not on the creeper. He's too big. He's like a big sausage. You're just gonna bend him in that way.
You
Well-
can't bend him that way. Well, maybe if you're working on that leg, maybe it will eventually snap into position.
Just snap it off and rip it around his head.
Wow, that would be absolutely incredible. A big sausage like Creeper is not meant to bend that way.
Well, as we know,
It's like, hey, shush. It's like a
Apologies,
pepperami.
Like a pepperami, did you say?
Yes, it does not bend. It just.
Wow, just snaps. Absolutely snaps into two. Absolutely incredible. So, Pequeno Loco, it turns out, planning to break the ankle of Creeper. Maybe in preparation, Creeper will now be putting on some more tape around his ankles to keep the menace of Pequeno Loco away from them. Do you have any other plans for your matchup with Creeper?
No.
Just break the ankles.
See?
Well, that's
Breaking the ankles, breaking the face.
breaking the face. Wow, Dick Chambers won't be happy with that. You are aware of that?
Who? Who's that?
Well, Dick Chambers is the man who's criticised you very often for wearing a mask and being the champion.
Oh, Ginger Santa, yes, him.
Ginger
Yes,
Santa.
yeah.
Wow, we have
Yeah,
a.
he's okay. He's okay.
What
He's,
could you?
Oh, talk.
He's
Oh,
all.
buff, no bite.
Well, Loco, we know that you're a locker room leader in Fusion Pro.
See?
So, what does the locker room think of Dick Chambers' antics over the past year?
They think he's smelly.
They think it's smelly.
smelly. Wow.
See?
Well, Dick Chambers possibly needing a shower. Is that what you're implying?
Very much so. See?
Oh wow. Well, we've got some insider
Excuse
scoops
me.
here.
Can you hear my squeaky chair?
Oh wow. How old's that chair? It does sound quite squeaky.
I got it from my grandfather. See?
Oh, what was his name?
Pequeno Loco, senior.
Senior.
So there's a line of Pequeno Locos then. So you're Pequeno Loco Junior then.
Maybe.
Surely the most successful Pequeno Loco.
No.
No. Well, maybe
great,
I'll have
great
to do.
heritage with my Pequeno Loco name.
Have you thought of applying for an ancestry DNA on Pequeno Loco so we could see the line of great wrestlers who have come down all the way to breed you effectively?
No.
No ancestry DNA from Pequeno Loco. It will continue to be a mystery to the Fusion Pro fans of all his ancestors and his past.
So, which leads us to the next question, Pequeno Loco. Uh, what's in the future for Pequeno Loco? So we'll push the past aside this now and move into the future. If you beat Creeper, which I'm desperately hoping that you do, who do you face next? What's the next task for Pequeno Loco? You're the first ever, Grand Champion, CCW Welsh Champion, Tag Champion, Ultimate 8, Super 8 winner, Grand Rumble winner. What is next? You've done it all.
What else can I win?
Nothing, really. Nothing. I don't. Not left in Fusion Pro unless some new belts possibly are introduced. But that's if you defeat Creeper, and continue on to greener pastures. Have you ever had any thoughts on what will happen if you don't beat Creeper?
Don't be silly.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Pequeno Loco very confident on defeating the mighty Creeper. We're going to have to let you go now and continue on with the rest of the show, but thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you and getting your opinions and getting the hot scoop on your favourite word, which we were wondering last week. Turns out it is C.
See, thank you very much, Pequeno Loco, and we look forward to having you in the near future to teach some Spanish lessons.
Gracias. Adios.
Adios.
Adios, amigos. What an excellent interview we've just had with Pequeno Loco. Brilliant insight to the world that is Pequeno Loco. Some very interesting answers. We've given you the scoop here, but it's time to move on to the next topic. Partymania, possibly.
Yes, well, we've seen some rumours of it about, the big man himself, Jimmy BiGG, has been promoting it on his social media. We've seen him also post up a few pictures of his attires that he may be wearing down to the ring, all colourful, very funky. Is a party on its way?
Well, that's the thing we're all asking currently. Partymania. What is Partymania? We've only seen Jimmy BiGG in Rumbles currently at Fusion Pro. Could this be the breakout where we see Jimmy BiGG finally come into himself and reveal what is Partymania all about?
Well, I've heard some rumours. Some of my sources have told me that he is not alone. Partymania is in fact a tag team. They've been submitted to the Fusion Pro board as a team. They want to move forward together. We're not sure of who the other member is just yet, though.
We're not sure. So, as we understand, Partymania is a tag team. Very interesting. Could Jimmy BiGG be under someone possibly more experienced? As we know, Jimmy BiGG is currently part of the Fusion Pro Young Guns of the Academy.
Absolutely. This is all speculation, but we have recently seen Ashton Lover leave the distinction, and he wants to get back over with the fans. He wants to bring the cheers back. He seems very motivated on a good cause. Could we see him in Partymania?
Definitely, Ashton Lover, as you said, leaving distinction. Perhaps a new ideology for Ashton Lover, a new identity for Ashton Lover. Obviously, Ashton Lover in the past, has aligned himself with distinction, possibly not sure what he was getting himself into. Now realizing Distinction's plans, that it wasn't exactly pushing Ashton Lover's career forward. He may look to have gone back to his roots, and as we know, Ashton Lover does like to party.
Well, it may be time to get Ashton Lover on for an interview to get his opinions on this. We can ask him where the future holds him. If he is embracing a change, we've got to think that he'll give us the honest answers to our questions. It might be worth inquiring for an interview with him.
Of course, and as we know, Ashton Lover is the type of person that enjoys question and answers sessions. We've seen him do the Q&A on the Facebook page.
We have sat on his sofa.
Sat on his sofa, indeed, with some lovely backing tracks
going
on.
Absolutely beautiful.
Unfortunately, we don't offer those types of backing tracks, Ashton Lover, but I'm sure you'll love the questions that we'll give you.
Oh, his voice may be beautiful enough. He's been wooing ladies for years. He must know how. Anyway, we move on to the fifth dimension. This may seem like an odd topic to some, but we will get to explaining soon. We've touched on it last show a little bit. Mason Toombs was very different the last time we saw him. He came out in a mask in the Grand Rumble and he attacked everyone, including his own tag partner, Brian Stone. We've seen him in the past forming teams and really being friendly with the more honourable members of the Fusion Pro roster, we'll say. But in the Grand Rumble, it seemed that anything goes.
Well, indeed, we saw a different type of Mason Toombs here, a more vicious Mason Toombs, unlike what we've seen before. Obviously, as we understand, Mason Toombs is almost like a split version of himself. He's got multiple versions of Mason Toombs, all battling each other inside of Mason Toombs to gain control as what we know as the host Mason Toombs, which we see on a regular occurrence, of course.
Well, yes, he is just a body. He's just a frame. He's a kind of like a mechanism that is controlled by multiple different sentient beings, I guess you could call them.
All Mason Toombs, of course.
Yes, all Mason Toombs, all different varieties and flavours of Mason Toombs.
As we understood, the Norwegian rock star Mason Toombs, who used to run riot in CCW, lost the battle against the postmodern pro wrestling sage Mason Toombs, who we thought had control over the host. But it looks as if there's some sort of change afoot. We've seen throughout his Fusion Pro career this battle, but still staying almost, that passive sentient being. But now there has been a change, and it looks as if there's a different Mason Toombs in charge now.
Well, yes, we it's very difficult to get Mason Toombs on for an interview. I can try my hardest, but he's a very private individual. We never really know what's going on in his head. There's sightings of him in different attires, different attitudes, different mindsets. Really, we've noticed on his Facebook page that it currently states that he is off dimension, though. Do you have any insight as to what this could mean?
Well, that's the thing. What could it mean? Apart from, Mason Toombs has been split. It's a very difficult topic, really, because to have that understanding of Mason Toombs itself, it would have to come from the horse's mouth, as people say. We've seen him post multiple times now on his Fusion Pro Facebook page.
Just the weirdest content, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the last time he posted was the 8th of March, which states as follows, quotation marks, "So Mason Toombs is disappointed that he's 9th in the Rumble, was gunning for 25th. Mason Toombs, on the other hand, wants to leave the other side, yet he cannot. However, Mason Toombs wants someone to feel the dark mist." We've seen now that there is a battle internally, between all the versions of Mason Toombs, all trying to gain control of the host.
Well, yeah, we don't even know if this is all of the Mason Toombs. We could see other variations in the future. We never know what's going on inside his head. We rarely get insight, but when he does post on Facebook, it always just leads to more questions and not many answers, doesn't it?
Very cryptic indeed, but this leads us to believe that the Mason Toombs we know now is no longer, and it's now the 5th dimension Mason Toombs.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to have to end the show here, I'm afraid. I've had a great conversation with you today, Owain. We had a fantastic interview with the Grand Champ Pequeno Loco, and next week is another blockbuster episode of the Fusion Pro Show. We've got a special guest interview, we have got the Fusion virtual results as always, and we're going to be talking about Anarchy and their battle of supremacy.
Well, we've got an excellent show ahead of us, and I look very much forward to discussing all the happenings in Fusion Pro Wrestling world. Thank you very much, Phil.
Oh, thank you very much, Owain. It's been great having you, as usual. We're going to be back next week. Every single Saturday morning, you will get a Fusion Pro show. So don't miss the upload, stay up to date, stick with the news, and thank you very much for listening.